Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of Licensing Subcommittee C of the Waverley Licensing Committee. First item is the election of the chairman for this subcommittee.
I'd like to propose Mr. Noel, Royal Councillor Noel.
I'd like to second Councillor Noel.
Thank you very much. Well, we will proceed. Item 2 is Licensing Act 2003, the application for a new premises licence at Cranes Family Sports Bar in Cranley. Mr. Hughes, yeah. Thank you. Mr. Hughes, would you like to introduce the item, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have in front of you an application for a new premises licence for Cranes Family Sports Bar, Snoxall Pavilion, Cranley, where 5 valid representations have been received from other persons, which are attached to Annex 4. There have been no representations received from responsible authorities. In brief, the applicant seeks to licence the premises for sale of alcohol 12 till 2300 hours Monday to Saturday and 12 till 2200 hours on a Sunday, with opening hours to match. Officers request you consider the matter.
Thank you very much. I'm Councillor Robert Knowles. I'm a member for Hazelmere. I'm joined by colleagues today, Martin Darcy, who's a member for Bramley, and Jerome Davison, who is a member for Hindhead. Also have a member of their legal department assisting us, and from Democratic Services, a clerk. Can you just introduce yourselves, please?
I'm the applicant, John Dennison from Cranes Family Sports Bar. Sorry about my throat, it's a bit sore.
My name is Natasha Dahl. I'm the owner of the Little Hearts Preschool, Cranley, and also put in an objection to the licence.
Mark Scully, Chair of Cranley Parish Council.
Beverly Bell, Parish Clerk, Cranley.
Thank you. The applicant, have you got a copy of the papers? But you have had it. Okay, as long as you've seen it. Okay, well, the hearing will be formal, but as relaxed as possible. The questions the subcommittee will ask will be proportionate and relevant to the matter under consideration and should not be unnecessarily intrusive, and the council solicitor may intervene if the questioning exceeds reasonable limits. Applicant, you've seen the papers, and I think you've now got a copy anyway. There's nothing you want to ask about that before we proceed?
Sorry, no.
Okay.
Sorry, yes, there was one thing that you mentioned a second ago about the licensing hours and the opening hours. The licensing hours that I applied for are not necessarily the opening hours. At the moment, the opening hours are only weekends, but obviously we are looking to open in school holidays once we get permission through the parish council. So we was advised to apply for those hours to save coming back to apply at a later date every time we need to change them. For instance, for school holidays or midweek evenings, etc. We was told to apply for those, and then it saves coming back for the application, because obviously we are looking to open in school holidays through the daytime from 12 o'clock. But that's subject to parish council permission at the time.
Okay, I think we've leapt ahead, because I was going to ask you to talk about the application. So would you like to say anything more about your reasons for the application and what you intend to do? Thank you.
Yes, so it came about, we used to, as a football club, have a licence for the premises. The problem with that at the time is it was run by volunteers, and it was mainly volunteers that worked there, and it meant that there was a certain few of us that were always doing all the work and other people weren't. That stopped quite a few years ago, and the club is growing in Cranley, and it's bigger than it's ever been. We wanted to get everything back in place that we used to have in the clubhouse. Obviously, the nursery school is there, but that's not open when we're open. And the nursery, we always had a nursery school there previously when we had the last license, and it always worked very well, as it has done. We've been open now for a couple of months, and there's not been any issues whatsoever with the nursery and the people coming in. So my idea was to open it not just for the football club, but we're right on the Downslink railway line. So we have a lot of cyclists, we have a lot of walkers that go past, and they've now started using the place. We have a lot of park goers. There's a children's park there. I think I've covered everything in the safeguarding with the CCTV and with how we deal with things inside, and we've not had any issues. We've done everything possible to help with the nursery school, and many of the nursery school children and parents do use the facility at the weekends over the last couple of months, so they're actually enjoying the facility. And the long-term plan, and we've already done a lot of this, is in the 2 months we've been open, is to raise money for local clubs and charities. So, for instance, we'll give a local club or a local charity or a local good cause the evening or the weekend to use the facilities, to put on entertainment, raffles, any kind of fundraising events. And from that, we're now pretty much booked up right till Christmas. We have parties for all age groups, from the under-5s football team right up to the adults football teams, etc. And also we've got plans for the World Cup to introduce families into using it and raising money. So far, we've raised over £2,500 in the 2 months that we've been open for good causes, and I generally believe that that will be a lot higher moving forward. And I'm hoping that we can raise over sort of £50,000 a year to good causes through having this facility open. It is the hub of the community. It is a central place where the sports clubs, the cycling club, the football club, and the local gymnast club all use. And we don't just do licensed drinks, but we do teas, coffees. I've got a tuck shop there for the children, and it's just a great all-round facility. So that's what we want to continue with having.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll ask my colleagues now if they want to ask you any questions, and I'll invite the other people to speak after that. Colleagues. Councillor Davis.
When I get my glasses off so I can read. It's interesting to hear from the background in that it was run by volunteers previously. I guess if I am correct, that any profits went back into the pavilion and the running of the pavilion. Is that correct?
When we had it as a football club, most of the money that was made went to pay the council for the rent, and also to the football club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that going to continue underneath the new arrangement?
No, it's that because what I'm doing now is I will have to pay staff, because we're not doing it on a voluntary term. It's me doing it privately. Mm-hmm. I do, and I always will do, keep my prices down. I'm not looking to, I have my own business, which I make a living from. This is purely to do, I enjoy doing things for the community. So I run the youth club locally. I run the young carers club locally. And if anybody wants anything doing, they normally come to me, and I help them get things going, raise money, etc. For instance, yesterday, I had all the Cub Scouts and invited all the Cub Scouts to the facility where they could have free drinks and crisps, because they went out in the rain yesterday morning collecting all the rubbish after the bonfire, which was a big thing for them to do. So things like that, I just want to do things for the community. It's not about making a fortune, and in fact, far the opposite of it. Over the last couple of months, I've put a lot of money into getting this set up, and over the next year or so, I can envisage me making that money back that I've put into it. And hopefully at some point, at the moment, it's me doing all the work. Hopefully at some point I can get staff in there as well. But what we won't have is a situation where we're struggling for volunteers.
Understand.
Councillor Darcy.
Mr. Dennison, I just wanted to ask a bit about the hours that you were thinking about, because obviously there's potential, I'm assume that you're mostly aiming for evening, is that correct?
Yeah, so we will never be open when the nursery school's open.
Right.
Ever. We never want to open when the nursery school's open. We want to work with the nursery school in making sure everything runs smoothly, as it always has done in the past when we've had a nursery school on the premises. But the premises is a bar. The bar was built with the premises and the changing rooms for the sports clubs. It's a sports pavilion. Now, the opening times, currently I have a license, although I have a rental agreement with the parish council where I open from. I have it from 6 till 12 on a Friday evening. I have it from 9 till 12 on a Saturday, 9 a.m. from 12, because I do teas, coffees and hot drinks, because we have hundreds of footballing kids and parents in the mornings. And 9 a.m. till 7. I also have permission from the parish council to open once I've given them the dates for when the nursery's not open for the World Cup games, and also for the Tuesday night combined counties games. And obviously I've got to give the dates. I've now got the fixtures for them, which will be going to the parish council at next. So I'm subject to the parish council on the hours I open, but that will be changing through the year, providing I get parish council permission to open for other events. And certainly one of the things we're looking to do is open through school holidays as well, where we can get an event, fundraising event or whatever, is just open and have the facility available for the community to use.
So I suppose the thing that concerns us, obviously, in this particular location, is the serving of alcohol. So serving coffee and teas and cake and whatever, that's absolutely fine, whatever time you choose to do it. But I'm just wondering when the alcohol was going to be served.
So the alcohol will be served when we've got functions from midday onwards. We have been running since the beginning of August using TENS licenses. There haven't been any issues, and there never will be. We are covered fully in all aspects outside with CCTV. In fact, I would guess the fact that it's open has probably improved the behaviour of some young teenagers in the area. But I think the CCTV, we don't suffer from misbehaviour, to be honest, a lot in Cranley. The kids of that age are very, very good. I know most of them personally through running the youth club. But we do show all the football on TV, the professional football as well. So we have the members of the football club and members of the local housing estate that now use the facility. And there hasn't been a problem with the alcohol. It never, in fact, when the cricket club have the license, when the football club have the license, and with us using the TENS in the last 2 months, there hasn't been one incident of any kind that isn't correct.
A follow-on question, if I may, please, Mr. Dennison. We have had difficulty with some premises in the past, where the CCTV equipment has been somewhat aged and not functioning correctly. Can you assure us that yours is up to date, working, and
It's not actually my CCTV equipment, it's the parish council's.
I will refer the question back to them afterwards, if I may. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. One representative of the parish council can speak, so whichever of you wishes to do so, please address us now.
Okay, this is a statement from the council. I'll just run through it. It gives you a little bit of background and a couple of things that we'd like to raise, if that's okay. So Cranes Family Sports Bar is a private limited company located at Snoxall Pavilion in Snoxall Fields Recreation Ground in the heart of Cranley Village. This section of the Snoxall Fields was given to Cranley Parish Council on a charitable trust in 1948. The charity objectives of providing a recreational ground or park for the benefit of the inhabitants of the Parish Council of Cranley. It is the primary park in Cranley and home, as John mentioned, to Cranley Football Club, Little Hearts Nursery, and the Council's Destiny Play Park. And that draws visitors from Cranley, obviously, and the surrounding areas due to the standards of the facilities that we have. There are 14 football pitches, including a professional quality main football pitch, and that demands higher standards of maintenance and protection than for normal recreational ground pitches. The football club has approximately 800 members, the majority of whom are under the age of 18, and use the recreation ground consistently through late summer, autumn, winter, and into spring. Snoxall Fields, as mentioned before, is bisected by the Downs Link public footpath, which is a well-used pedestrian link between the housing developments off Horsham Road and the village centre. It is lit by a footway lighting through Snoxall Fields recreation ground, which encourages the use all hours of the day. There is some antisocial behaviour that includes littering, graffiti, there is some drug taking, vandalism, and antisocial driving, and this has resulted from the secluded position within the village. Parish Council works with Surrey Police actively and reports all antisocial behaviour incidents. Currently, volunteers need to inspect the recreational football pitches and the play park every weekend day before play to remove litter and in particular broken glass, which could cause devastating injuries at football players and children. Topic of off sales. The applicant submitted a business plan to the Parish Council for the Cranes Family Sports Bar prior to entering into an occupational licence agreement with them for the hire of Snoxall Pavilion. The applicant's business plan detailed the service to be provided, including off sales to cover beer tents on Snoxall Fields for events such as sports, tournaments, council fetes, etc. As a consequence, the Parish Council entered into the licence agreement on this basis, recognising that Cranes Family Sports Bar may provide off sales of alcohol to a limited number of events agreed by the Parish Council. The Parish Council needs to refer to the applicant's licence application, section 1, subsection C, where they state that plastic glasses will only be permitted for people going outside to sit on our fenced-in private patio area. Having seen this, it is important for the committee to know that the Cranes Family Sports Bar shared the outside tarmac fenced area at the pavilion with the Little Hearts Nursery. And that, sadly, it has already been necessary for the nursery staff to clear away some broken glass on a Monday morning and remove cigarette ends discarded in the outside fenced area. It is therefore clear that it is proving difficult for the bar owner to enforce the proposed condition of section M subsection C of Cranes Family Sports Bar premises licence application. In light of these incidents, the permission for the off sales of alcohol has the potential to increase broken glass across the whole recreational ground and fail to meet the licensing objectives for the prevention of injury, for the protection of children from harm and public safety. Therefore, the Parish Council does not wish to encourage the consumption of alcohol in its recreational ground by the permission for off sales from Cranes Family Sports Bar. Parish Council is fully aware that as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has amended the Licensing Act 2003 to allow temporarily premises that are permitted to serve alcohol for consumption on the premises only to serve alcohol for consumption off premises as well. This amendment to the Licensing Act 2003 ending on the 30th of September 2023. So another gambling. The applicant says in his premises licence application that he has worked closely with the parish council in section M subsection A for all 4 licensing objectives. The applicant failed to mention his desire for gaming machines at the premises. The desire for gaming machines was only discovered after the council had entered into an occupational licence agreement to hire the pavilion to the applicant, when the applicant referred to gaming machines in his risk assessment. The applicant has already demonstrated a failure to comply with the Gaming Act 2005 by running poker tournaments on 2 sessions whilst only holding a 10's notice. Again, the parish council were unaware of the desire to run gambling games until they saw Cranes Bar advertisement on Facebook for the poker tournaments. The applicant has presented Cranes Bar Family Sports Bar to the parish council in the form of a business plan, saying that it will be Cranley's meeting hub for local clubs and families. The business plan says its location immediately by the children's park, football fields and downlink rail line is an ideal location for all refreshments themselves. The applicant has directly sold the concept of a family bar. The parish council were never made aware of the intention to hold gambling and gaming on the premises and strongly object to the inclusion of any gambling or gaming on the premises. Parish council asked the licensing committee to withdraw the consent for legal gambling, including the 2 gaming machines as part of the premises license, to meet the licensing objective, the protection of children and vulnerable adults from harm. Licensable activities and times. The parish council very carefully considered the differing needs of the businesses operating from Snoxall Pavilion and other users of the recreational ground. The parish council agreed very specific permitted hours for each business using the pavilion in their occupational licence agreement to meet the licensing objective for the prevention of public nuisance. For the avoidance of doubt, the parish council needs to clarify the applicant's assertion that midweek is ad hoc, based on opening only when the nursery is closed. In section L of the applicant's premises licence application, the agreement as it stands means not that the licensee is eligible to open ad hoc when the nursery is closed, but the council will consider each application for midweek opening on its individual merits and approve or not at its sole discretion. The parish council is asking the licensing committee to amend the time of licensable activities to concur with permitted hours of the occupational licence agreement as detailed in Appendix A of the occupational licence between Cranes Family Sports Bar and the parish council. These are currently set out as below to meet the licensing objectives for the protection of public nuisance. And these times, as stated, are Friday 6 till midnight, Saturday 9 till midnight, Sunday 9 till 7 p.m. and midweek fixtures and dates and times to be approved by the council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will probably ask our legal advisor, but I have to make it quite clear that the parish council are not the licensing authority. You may decide when you're going to lease it, but you cannot fix licensing times. The borough council and this committee are the licensing authority. If you wish to deal with the lease times, that's a matter for you.
Okay.
But licensing is strictly by law. I think, can I just ask you to confirm, our solicitors to confirm that? Thank you.
Yes,
You need to put your back on again.
sorry. Effectively, the licensing committee will consider the application made and the representations received, and along with a number of other documents, including the Home Office guidance, but matters of civil or contractual issues effectively are matters between the parties and outside of the remit of the licensing committee, if that assists.
And I think there is a procedure. We can't remove the gaming thing part without statutory notice, and there is a procedure separate to this, is there not?
Yes, I understand that there's been reference to a temporary event notice or gaming in the form of poker, but with regards to the gaming machines, there is an automatic entitlement to for alcohol licence holders to make available 2 gaming machines of category C or D for use in alcohol licence premises. To take advantage of that entitlement, the person who holds a licence must give notice to the licensing authority of their intention and pay a prescribed fee which is set in legislation. There is it's not an authorization procedure, and licensing authorities have no discretion to consider the notification or to turn it down. The only matter to determine is whether the person has the entitlement and whether the fee has been paid. There is an ability to remove the automatic exemption by a set procedure which is set out under section 284 of the Act. And that occurs in circumstances where an offence has been committed. The premises are used mainly for gaming. Gaming has taken place on the premises that breaches a condition, or provision of the machines is not reasonably consistent with the pursuit of the licensing objectives. Before making such an order, a licensing authority must give a licensee at least 21 days notice of that intention and consider any representations received. So it's not something that would fall to be dealt with by this committee, if that assists to clarify that point on the gaming machines.
Thank you very much. Councillor Davison.
A question for our solicitor for clarification. As I hear it, it looks like two machines, gambling machines, slot machines, are permissible within the licensing agreement. But does that extend to other gambling, like poker schools, horse betting?
I don't know whether you'd like to hear from Mr. Hughes on that matter.
Yeah, currently the Gambling Act does allow gambling at premises such as bingo, poker nights and that, but there are limits to the stakes and the amount of winnings, which we have made the premises aware of. Whether that will change in the new white paper that's out at the moment, if it comes into fruition.
Thank you.
Please.
Am I able to just come back on a couple of points that were raised? So firstly, thank you very much. You did help me out on the poker side of things. We have a poker club, which is one of the many clubs that use the facilities. They actually play most of their games without any gambling whatsoever. It's just a game of cards, no different to bridge or other types of cards that are played regularly. But I am fully aware and have a full copy of the Gambling Act. And it makes it sound like we're opening a gambling casino. We're not. We're doing it for exactly the reasons we've stated. In my original proposal and my original business plan, we did cover for two machines to cover the cost of the football that I have to pay, which is just under £500 a month to have the football shown live on the facilities. And obviously we had to look at ways of funding this. So we looked at two ways. One is to have a gaming machine, as in a slot machine, and the other one was a gaming machine, as in a gaming machine, not a gambling one. And the other one was to have a pool table. Now, currently, we can't have a pool table because we have to clear everything away at the end of the weekend, which we do very well every week. But we couldn't clear away a pool table because the doors are not wide enough. So we've had to go for the slot machines, but they are on wheels and they are cleared away every week and they do fit through the doors. So on the other side of things regarding the off sales, I have to contest that, I'm surprised that it got brought up by the parish council because there is CCTV covering the area, and if they were to see that, they would see that the broken glass was nothing to do with our premises. It was a member of the public that was on the outside of the fence that had a glass bottle who dropped it, and that was not from our premises. As far as the cigarette end goes, they are cleared every week to the best of my ability. But it's obviously we have smokers that come in and use a facility and they need to go outside, have a cigarette, and it's all within the area. Plastic glasses are supplied, and we have a number of, in fact, we have 4 different signs saying no glass is allowed outside. Plastic glasses are put by the exits for those people to use. And I have to say, I've not come across many instances of that being broken, and when I have, I've made sure they put it into plastic glasses.
Thank you very much. Other my colleagues' questions of the parish council? Councillor Darcy.
Yeah, so what was the parish council's, how would the parish council seek to ensure that the aims of providing a service for people like the football club to have events and your concerns could be met? What's your sort of ideal outcome?
I mean, obviously, as a service to the community, we are, we want to provide a service for everybody that can be used, and obviously the site would reference that as well. The challenge, obviously, is that the two businesses, a nursery with young children and a bar, are quite opposite ends of potentially a match made in heaven. But it is a sports pavilion, and it does serve the community in that respect. And obviously, we've got a very large sort of football community there as well. I think the challenge that we have is that we have tried to place some restrictions in place because of the issues that could arise. I appreciate the comments made about the glass, but at the end of the day, we're just stating the fact that whether it was somebody dropping glass or not, it is a big problem in an area where there are children, young children playing in a park very close by. So I think we would like to try and limit the activity to start with until we get everything working so that we're comfortable with it and we know that things work properly. And then maybe we can invest a little bit more in the property to make it better for both of them to use it. And the key issue, obviously, is putting stuff away. There's a lot of equipment that needs to be put away, and we can't afford for people's equipment to be damaged, be it the bars or the nurseries. And we've got a few challenges in trying to manage that as well. So, in answer to your question, a bit of a long way around, I think we just need for people to work with us and not try and work against us. And I think we're getting a little bit of both, to be honest with you, if I'm truthful about the matter.
Thank you. Obviously, you lease these premises to the football club and to the nursery or whatever. What hours are you leasing the premises to the football club?
Thank you. We're not actually leasing the premises because the lease is to the exclusion of all others. So it's actually an occupational license agreement, and we have an occupational license agreement for Cranes Family Sports Bar, and that is Friday 6 till midnight, Saturday 9 AM till midnight, and Sunday at 9 AM till 7 PM, and then at other times midweek to be agreed by the parish council in advance. And similarly, we have an occupational license agreement with Little Hearts Nursery, which is Monday to Friday, and that's 8:30 to 4:30 PM.
Thank you. So it's licensed to the nursery Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And is that sole use during that period?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
I do believe that's school terms only, not school holidays.
Is that correct?
It is term time only. It's 38 weeks a year.
Yeah, right. The lady from the nursery, would you like to address us? Thank you.
So I've come along really today just to express my concerns about the bar being open. Obviously, Mr. Dennison said everything's run smoothly over the last couple of months or however long he's been open. This is not true. I've had to, like the councillor has mentioned, I've had to clear up glass from the garden. I've had to clear up cigarette butts from the garden. I've also had to deal with display boards being ripped off of the wall and sharp bits of metal left in the wall, all of which are a concern for safety of my children. And I've had to deal with these on a very, very quick turnaround before my kids arrive into school. He mentioned that obviously the glass wasn't anything to do with him, but matter of fact is I've never had to deal with that in the 3 years that I've been there prior to him being open. So yeah, so that's my main, my main issue. He's also painted the picture that it's worked very smoothly and we've been communicating and everything's been running okay. And again, that's not true. We've had to clear up after his mess on a Monday morning. And the way it affects my running of the business, and it does affect the children because we have to take the time out to deal with these issues when we really should be with our kids and preparing for the day to start. So yeah, so they're my, and I'm just worried that it's just going to get worse as time goes on, because obviously these things have happened in the very beginning stages. So I don't know how it's going to, go on as time moves on.
Thank you very much. Any questions, colleagues? No. No, thank you. Okay, thank you. We've heard from the parties and we'll allow you to wind up before we adjourn to consider the matter.
Just in response to that, so things have gone very smoothly as far as I'm concerned. As far as having to clear up on a Monday, the parish council pay and they do an excellent job. They come in and literally do an industrial clean of the facilities every Sunday evening. I clear all of my stuff out of the way. They come in and they really do a good job of cleaning the place. So the place is spotless for them on a Monday. And I'm afraid it's been overstated, the cigarette side of things, because I make sure every Sunday evening I go out and literally do what you call a police line walk backwards and forwards, picking up all the cigarette butts, if there are any. And there are not many because I tend to put a lot of ashtrays outside. But just to add on that, my license agreement with the parish council does state that it is for the use of that particular area. So I rent that for Ross sales purposes for people to sit outside, have a cigarette and sit on the benches and enjoy the sunshine when we have it.
Mr. Hughes.
Yeah, can I just clarify the fruit machines you've got at the premises? What category are they?
We don't have any at this present time. I'm waiting until the license comes in because I have to have them on a contract. So I wanted to make sure that I have the license. But it is the intention to have one gaming machine and one fruit machine, and it's purely for the reason that will cover the cost of the football on the TV.
Just so you understand, because before I believe you had a club certificate rather than a premises license. Club certificates allowed a bigger, more larger machine with bigger payouts than you are. You only allowed category C and D for a premises license.
I honestly, my mind's not made up, but I've got a feeling there might be more gaming machines and gambling machines. And what I mean by that is a machine that somebody puts 50p in and plays a game for 5 minutes, not to get money back out of, but to earn points. I think that ultimately will be what I do, because that will hopefully placate the parish council in the fact that it's not gambling, but it will raise money at the same point. So something like an Atari machine or something that, or golfing machine, I don't know. But I think having heard what I've heard, that's probably the direction I'll go, as opposed to have fruit machines that pay out money.
Yes, I'll just very briefly, please.
Just want to clarify, in a meeting we had recently, you mentioned that the Sky TV subsidy was actually paid by the football club. It wasn't going to be subsidised by the gambling machines.
No, that's incorrect.
I think we have that minuted.
Yeah. Again, it's been minuted incorrectly. What I actually said is, I was, and if we look at the recording of that meeting, that we were looking, and this is going back to the very first stages when I put my application in. Am I right on that you're talking about?
Okay, we can't have bouncing backwards and forwards. You must address the committee and just state for your position. We're not here for debate. It's for us to consider what you say. So if you make your point, you can make your point, but
it was the
can't backwards and forwards. I'm sorry.
Okay, it was the May Parish Council meeting.
Yeah, no, that's incorrect and been recorded wrongly.
Thank you. We will now adjourn and consider what we've heard and come to a decision and return and let you know in due course. Thank you. Right, we will resume at 9 minutes past 11. We have considered everything we've heard very carefully and come to the decision that the licence is granted as in the application, and conditions will be applied that measures must be put in place for the removal of waste arising from customers and to prevent accumulation of waste in the immediate area of the facility. The area must be regularly swept to remove cigarette ends, and the area must be provided with suitable number of ashtrays. The committee make it quite clear, however, that this does not override the occupational agreement with the parish council, and the licence will only apply when the occupational agreement is in force for the premises to be used by the club, not outside that time. That brings to an end our decision and the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending.